most people who cheat are addicted, especially men. If you compare a brain to somebody on meth or heroin, they almost look identical. Kids in their 20s, in their teens, have a hard time getting it up because they've watched so much.
And they're on ED drugs at 22 years old. And you're like, dude, you ain't 70.
But at the end of the day, if she's beat and drained and tired and she doesn't ever want to have sex, but you do, how do you fix that? What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs today in the studio. Folks, I got a couple with me. A real treat, as always, especially, folks, if you guys want to get a better relationship. You guys are and they got tons of followers. You guys can follow them. If you're not already, the McCabe Life on Instagram, the McCabelife.com. Everywhere's the McCabe Life.
Yeah.
And so we got Katie and Terry McCabe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here only because I believe firmly that, I like to help entrepreneurs grow and scale businesses. And a lot of people have problems at their business and they don't realize that it's probably a relationship problem, a marriage problem.
Yeah. That
could manifest into a business problem where they're sitting there trying to fix a business problem when it's actually the problem at home they're dealing with.
Yeah.
So to kind of give people a background.
Yeah.
You guys obviously got married at some point.
We did.
And then there was a little trauma and turmoil.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the turmoil.
Yeah. So we got married in 2007 and
yep, that's right.
Yeah, got to go back. We got married in 2007, young married couple, had our kids young. And I'm just in the workforce, but in this process, we kind of had typical relational problems. We'd fight, argue, frustration, we had intimacy frustrations, just a lot of typical things that you would see marriages argue about. And I was wrestling with some challenges myself. I had a pornography addiction at that time. And so those sorts of things lead to more, attraction to kind of that, we call it like the Jezebel spirit. It's like that, promiscuous spirit. And, I was working with a coworker and she just kind of had that spirit. And it turned into an inappropriate relationship. And obviously that broke my family, and I had to do some repair. I had to fix some things in our home, but I had to fix some things in myself. And in this process, I had a beautiful wife who chose to stand by me in a season where I was not honoring. I wasn't who I needed to be, especially behind closed doors. And so, we worked on it. We decided what does it take? We got some help. We got some people to help us, another husband and wife couple. And that's just sort of where we fell in love with that model. You have a husband and wife representing a husband and wife versus I'm just talking to this female therapist who doesn't get any of my struggles as a man or vice versa. And they walked us through and we really started reading books and diving into things. And in that process, it just became something that we liked talking about and getting better. And we started seeing the fruits of it in our relationship.
What kind of fruits?
We could communicate a lot better. We really started understanding each other. I worked on my emotional regulation, learning how to I don't have to run away the first time my wife comes to me upset. I don't have to shut down, get defensive. My wife understood the importance of sex and intimacy for me, understanding that.
Now, can we dig into some of this?
Anything you want.
Good. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
Only because
easily offense hurts marriages. So learn to not be offended and you'll be okay. So you can't offend us. Go ahead.
Yeah, hard to
well, again, I like to speak in layman's terms. So you say inappropriate relationship, which means you cheated.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever cheated?
No.
Okay. No, I would have to just assume and believe it, but would you be honest if you had?
100%.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because again, most times I would say it's the guy.
Yeah.
That's more common.
Sometimes it's the girl.
Oh, it's the girl sometimes. We got those.
And girls are tricky little fuckers. Dude, you don't catch them as easily. They are very good at it. Guys, we're stupid. We get caught all the time. And then we say, sorry, honey. And we bend over backwards and change and do all this shit and kiss their ass when in reality, dude, they were doing it too.
Yeah.
So number one, good job. And I commend you for sticking with it. Cause again, I always tell people dude, I don't know if I could. Mm-hmm. If I went home and found my wife cheating, I'd probably boot her ass out.
Understandable emotion.
Why didn't you boot his ass out?
Well, for us, divorce really wasn't on the table. And
Why?
Because when we took a vow and said for better or for worse, unfortunately, that's in the category of worse. But here's a key point, though. He was remorseful. So it's very different if you have a spouse that cheats.
Did you only do it once?
Yep.
Okay.
And you
admitted to?
No, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Remember, she didn't catch me. One caveat, I confessed.
See, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Like someone,
It's not like she walked in, so I confessed.
Yeah, but you took the wrong course, Terry. You're supposed to deny.
No. All right, we're going to
That's not
correct
the
you now.
remorseful. The deny, because when that comes out later, you've created so much mistrust. How can I ever in the future even begin to trust you because you told me to your face, like to my face, that no, it wasn't true.
So,
and then it comes out later.
What if you found out he did lie and he did do it more than once? Would you boot him then?
No.
Because divorce ain't an option.
Divorce is not an option. When you have two willing people that are willing to look at, here's where I screwed up, here's where I need to grow, and I'm willing to grow. I'm not looking for perfection, I'm looking for willingness. So we have a relationship that is based on an awareness that we are imperfect humans, and whether it's some intense betrayal or just the day-to-day life of having emotional issues and not being your best self, maybe getting angry or getting too emotional because I'm hormonal or whatever, we come to the table every day knowing you're not going to be perfect. Now, I'm not saying that if there was like serial cheating, we might not be having some separation discussions and some intensive therapy. But in our story, it was there's a sexual addiction, led to an inappropriate relationship, led to a confession with tremendous remorse and a willingness to take full ownership. And that's a key component if you're dealing with infidelity. Does the person who crossed that boundary take full ownership, which means no blaming like, well, if you had just been more available, I wouldn't have done this. That kind of language means you're not taking ownership of the fact that you messed up. I am an imperfect wife, but that doesn't give you a license to go betray our vows. See, so because he was willing to do whatever it took, and we're still on a journey of growth. We're always looking for how can I do better? How can I be better as a spouse? Always wanting to reflect on, you know what, that wasn't my best moment. Even in just little communication nuances that we might have. We're always in that space. And that's what makes us feel safe and confident to move forward is because we've never said like, I've arrived, so you better accept this. I'm always saying, I know I could grow. And we're willing to look at each other each day and do that.
So what I want to know is because you guys help couples.
Yep.
And is it always infidelity you're helping them with? Sometimes it's just like disconnection.
More often than not, it actually is just disconnection. Yeah. But we have couples, obviously, that will come through, and we have a program specifically for couples working through repairing trust in that from that standpoint. So we have two.
Do you guys have any where the women did it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you have a bunch where the men did it. Do you find that men are more than women?
In our story, I think yes.
Statistically,
I see statistically that happens. I don't know the stats on there, so don't quote me on that. But from our experience, that's why. And I think they're just like more men are addicted to pornography than women too. So I think that sexual sort of drive, and it's more common in men. So that's why I think that
part of it's testosterone, part of it's how a man's brain is wired, like that visual stimulation, right? So
well, not only that, but
that might be true. Yeah.
Well, not only that, it's like, if it's warm and wet and willing, that's usually all a dude really needs.
Yeah.
A woman, there needs to be a little bit more than just,
sure.
Is there a dick available?
Yeah, fair enough.
But
usually there's an emotional connection that's preceding that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I always try to coach young men when they're asking me about shit like this. I go, just cause they're willing doesn't mean you should,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to have a lot of control and self-respect and knowledge.
Yeah.
You got to have knowledge. Like it took me a long time to realize that. Before it was like, if you're willing, depending on who's looking, I would. Well, dude, that's not the way to live. It's not valuing yourself. And now I get to a point where if I cheat, I believe I'm cheating myself. I'm also cheating on her, but I'm cheating myself because I made the vow and I want integrity and confidence and self-esteem. And I pride myself in, there's not a 10 on the planet that could sneak in and get me to cheat. Right. Now I might go home and divorce and then go do it.
Yeah.
but that's not cheating in my book.
It's not.
No.
No, because
it's not cheating.
cheating is when you're doing it when they don't know you're doing it. If you have an open relationship, that's not cheating. No. Cheating is when you're doing something that you said you wouldn't, and they don't think you are, and you are.
Right. And you're still in that committed relationship.
Yeah. And then like you're married, you go home at night and she's all there. Everybody's happy. And you just, you just got your shit handled at work with a coworker. And a lot of times a coworker is generally a problem.
Most common.
Spend a lot of time.
Yeah, because I say I don't want my wife working. People are like, why? Are you trying to control her? No, because I don't want her in an environment. Like, you don't want a haircut, don't go to the barbershop. Like, I don't want her out in the workforce. Dude, that's when you start to get emotions and feelings and, work husbands, as they call them. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, you're having a problem that she probably wouldn't have done anything if she wasn't around that guy going, it's okay. Come over to my house. So
what if your wife says, I want to work to fulfill me. I want to feel fulfilled.
I'd say, let's get you a business.
Okay.
Love it.
But if she says, I'm going to go work at a casino and a nightclub, I would say, well, just know, because I don't control her, but I would warn her that I probably won't stay married to you. Why? Well, because, dude, I know what happens at those places because I used to be the guy they were doing it with.
Yeah.
Like one night I was at a bachelorette party. And I'm watching this bachelorette who's getting married tomorrow do shit that was like unbelievable. Yeah. And then when I came to Vegas when I was 21, I'd go out and there'd be many times where the next day I find out they're married.
Yeah.
Not boyfriend, girlfriend. That's bad enough.
Right.
Married.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that could get you killed. You screw the wrong dude's wife, dude, and you're dude. I'm telling you, because of the rage and emotions that are attached to it. Like it's crazy. Like you could open yourself up into a love triangle where, you have an affair with some crazy girl, and now all of a sudden, you got a psycho, and all you did was you thought you were just going to get a quickie. Mm-hmm. So again, I'm totally against cheating.
Oh. And just so you know, your conversation, even with your wife, if she said, I want to go to a casino, that just becomes your boundary. It doesn't make it wrong. It's just, it's what Brad Lee needs in his marriage. And that's something that you and your wife discuss. Only because I'm not stupid. People go, you don't trust her.
But that's what I was leading to when I asked you, what if she said she wanted to go back to work to fulfill something, is really, it's about having boundaries. So for example, I want to go work at a nightclub. You might be like, that's just really not the place that I think is going to be best for our relationship. Why don't we start you a business, or why don't we do this? So for people who are in the workforce who come and talk to us, we're like, I feel like my spouse is getting really close with this coworker. We say, boundaries. So for example, one of the boundaries we help couples set is, if you're in the workforce and you're by the water cooler and you're talking to Joe Schmo, don't tell him about your relationship problems. Talk about the weather. Talk about the news, but your personal relationship struggle with your spouse at home is not something you talk to somebody of the opposite sex about at work, because that's where the vast majority of affairs are starting. You're fighting at home, you're disconnected. Now you're talking to somebody at the office about it, and you're getting all these emotional heartstrings connected. And before you know it, you're in an emotional.
Understands me. My husband doesn't.
He listens. Well, he's not married to you. He doesn't have the struggles
He thinks
at home.
I'm pretty.
Yeah. Right. So it's really just boundaries of what you and your spouse have decided. Hey, this is what's wise. I'm never going to go out and get drinks with a dude alone. I'm just not going to do it. We'll go together. I know. So sorry. Got to turn you down. Like,
what if he's your friend?
No, if he's my brother.
Are you is a boundary male friends?
No, I got plenty of male friends, but we don't do quality time alone. Like, our friends are people we'll double date all the time. We'll go out in groups and do things.
But you'd never go have cocktails with your male friend?
Never. Not alone.
Yeah, see, again. And you stuck with them. So I already consider you a good one. There's not a bunch of good ones. Some of them are out.
Change that. We're trying to work on that.
Here.
Yeah, because there's some that are out there that, if you cheat on them, they'll just cheat on you back. And 9 times out of 10, you cheat on them and then find out they did cheat on you already. And you're like, well, fuck, I'm justified. And then I always tell people, then blow them out. Why? Well, it may be the wrong position, but in my book, if I went home and found my wife cheated, they already violated. There's no repairing that to me.
They did.
Why? Because why would you ever do that?
Yeah. Most people do not stand at their wedding day and say, I can't wait to have that hot affair in 10 years.
And if you, well, that's the problem.
It's lack of boundaries. It's an accident. And so what we look at is you got 3 kids in the mix. You got a mortgage, you got a life, you got dreams for the future. So it is normal to say, nope, I'm done. I could never come back from that. Very common. We get people asking us all the time when we do infidelity reels, talking about how do you rebuild after? What does that look like? And people will respond and go, are you freaking crazy? If that happens, we're done. And we say, I get that. But I want you to envision.
That's me. 20, change my mind.
Yeah, 20 to 30 years from now, you're at your kid's wedding, your grandkids' graduation, Christmas with the whole big family around, Thanksgiving dinner, and you had a few hard years of repair and rebuilding where you really shifted. You put the heart healing into place and you did the actual work for trust to be rebuilt. You could have a whole future with that person you built a life with, or you could start over.
Yeah, but you could also do the work and find out she did it again or he did it again.
You could. That's a risk you take.
And then you do the work. And then 2 years later, everything was fine. And now you're finally in love. And then find out again. She did it again or he did it again. Like, that's the thing.
Brad,
it's like,
so
how do you know that someone's all of a sudden remorseful?
You don't.
They're always remorseful when they get caught.
And this is part of why, here's what we tell people. If your partner had an affair and you're thinking you want to stick it out, you can't just let time Band-Aid this wound. There are really specific steps that you need to take for trust to actually be restored.
Like
not
what?
Hopefulness.
Like what? Put them in a situation and see if they did it? Hire somebody? One time I was gonna start it was called Checkmate. Mm-hmm. And it was basically me and my buddies will go see if we can bang your girl.
Oh, like see if we can convince her.
We're going to check your mate.
Okay.
Because again, I mean, you get a bunch of good looking dudes. If they're going to cheat, more than likely it's going to happen with a good looking dude, or at least good looking to them. So I had a bunch of buddies that were like, players. Mm-hmm. In other words, we did well. And again, a lot of times we found out, these girls were married. Yeah. Well, why don't we check people? Let's start a thing where like a guy gives us $1,000, tells us where his girl is and give us her phone number. And we just slide into her DMs. There were no DMs back then, but check them.
Figuratively speaking.
Check them. And I almost started it because like, dude, pay me to go see if I can get your girl's number. Cause if my girl gives you her phone number, mm-hmm. that's cheating.
Right. Because she was probably intent at that point.
Would she?
Why would you
have done it if you were standing there?
Is that the question?
That's the whole point, right? If she was standing there, if you were standing there, your girl probably wouldn't have done it. Meaning she knew you wouldn't have appreciated that. Right. So if she's willing to do it, I know this is something that my husband or wife would not appreciate.
Yeah, but don't they know that though?
But they don't, in that moment, as I said.
I'm not saying they're not being stupid. I'm not saying they're not being stupid.
I know, but mistakes, dude. I would because I get animated because I picture my wife doing it.
Have you ever been cheated on, Brett?
Not that I know, not that I know of, but I'm sure I have.
What I will say is so many couples that we have worked with, the husband or the wife has said, I can't believe I'm here because I always swore that if anybody ever cheated on me, I'd be done. Yet here I am and I can't be done.
Because they love them.
Because everybody says, I shouldn't say everyone, a lot of people say exactly what you're saying until they're in the situation. And then you have kids to think of, and then you have, how do we do finances? How do we do all of these things? There's all these question marks. I don't know what to do.
20 years of marriage that I'm now getting rid of.
This is a person, right?
Or now I'm old.
There's a lot of things.
Bitch waited till I was too old.
And so what I will say is there is plenty of people who have done the work and have come back and are stronger. Mm-hmm. And what we often say, and this wasn't our, I want to give credit to whoever it was. But it's like the Twin Towers. When they collapse, people often go like, well, I just want my marriage back. And it's like, it's collapsed. It's not, those 2 buildings are never coming back. You can build something in their place. You can build something new. You can clean up the mess and the rubble. Heck, the new buildings could be prettier, nicer, more stable. Yeah. The things that sucked the first time that brought that down, you can fix. But those 2 buildings are gone. You have a different relationship. People say they were remorseful in the moment, and that's the point of that's when you need to take action. And what often happens is people don't know what to do in that moment, and someone's remorseful, and then the other person's like, oh, you're not going to do it again, right? and then they didn't do any rebuilding work.
Yeah.
And all that kind of gets brushed under the rug. They go a little time. The guy, most people who cheat are addicted to porn. That's what I'll come out with it. Especially men.
I don't know about that.
It's so true.
Most guys that cheat are because they could.
They could, but a lot of them also.
I cheated and I was not addicted to porn.
Did you look at porn?
I mean, who doesn't? But addicted?
A lot of people.
Yeah, but addicted is a lot.
word.
Okay. Addicted means you got to constantly look at the fucking porn.
They're looking at porn.
They're looking at porn.
Well, who isn't?
A lot of people.
What are you talking about?
It's a hard no in our house.
I don't look at
Well, I mean, again.
And in a lot of people that we know, a lot of people that we work with.
If I would bet my life that my wife doesn't watch porn. Okay. And I don't watch porn.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen porn.
You've seen it, yes, but there's a difference between seeing it and it being something that's like regularly part of your lifestyle. So there's men out there that a couple times a week, there's men out there that every day they're in the bathroom at work flipping through porn. Some of them are
rubbing one out.
So if this is happening multiple times a week, these men, you best believe it, there's a girl in the room that's a little bit more flirtatious. They're attracted to it because it kind of is the same energy that the porn's feeding off.
Yeah.
So they're willing,
because if you're watching porn, that kind of makes you horny, no?
Well, yeah, that's
in a lot of these cases. You also have to ask.
Increasing.
Yeah, but see, I'm not a horn dog.
Yeah,
and again, I always ask myself, like, what changed? You know, I'm just not a horn dog anymore. You know, I never really was, except for like up to maybe a certain age. But like once you did it a million times, then it's no longer like the big thing. People are like, well, then you're not doing it with the right person. Not true. Like to me, it's like if you grew up and your dad owned an ice cream store.
Sure.
You want to get some ice cream?
I've had ice cream a lot.
Yeah. I had plenty of ice cream, Well, this one's, Rocky Road. I ain't tried Rocky Road. Let me taste that. Yeah. But I think men cheat more because, we're men. We don't have to be emotionally attached. We just want to do it. And if no one will know, I think that's why they cheat. I don't know if it's porn related.
Well, I think it's the same energy of why porn is so common in men. So it's like 70 to 80% of men look at porn regularly.
Yeah.
So we're talking multiple times a week looking at porn. In most cases, let's be honest, probably jacking off. And
well, why look at porn and then not?
Yeah.
What's the point?
I would say that's why I said more likely than not. Someone may say, oh, I just, I get it to get turned on before I go with my wife or something. I don't know. Right.
Or some probably couples watch it together to get turned on. Is there something wrong with that?
There's nothing. Here's the thing.
Is there something wrong with that?
Yeah. So
and again, me and my wife, we don't watch porn at all. So I'm one of the ones that don't watch it, but we don't not watch it because it's wrong. We don't watch it because we don't need to. But again, if she ever said, let's turn on porn, I'd almost get a little insecure and jealous about that. Okay. Why? So why do you need porn to get into it? Like you do not like me or something?
So you spoke to it. So rather than talk about right and wrong, because depending on your audience and who's watching, like we're not necessarily here to be
this is going to get a million comments.
Yeah, we're not necessarily here to be moral police. We're here to talk about like what are the effects of that on the relationship, right? So even in the context of a wife asking, do you want to turn on? You just said that would make me insecure.
Well,
normally it's flipped. Normally it's the husband who's interested, either together or he's doing it on his own, and the wife is radically insecure by that. But the other thing is when we're looking at those images, that becomes what turns you on. So you actually create like this stimulation level of, I need that level of stimulation, that level of, completely airbrushed porn star who your wife doesn't look like after having babies, right? So now she's super in her head, and you have this level of, visual that you need to see in order to get turned on. And guess what happens? All of a sudden, wife ain't turning me on. All of a sudden, ED levels are going up and up and up in our society because they can't get it up for their wife because they've created this dopamine reaction in the brain that now I require a certain level and a certain number of hits before I can get it up. And it's destroying marriages from the inside out. So when you start to, as we call it, starve your eyes and not allow other sexual stimulation motion to get you going. And the only person that you look at naked in all of those erotic ways is your spouse, with all their imperfections and stretch marks and little love handles that might come as menopause hits or whatever. All of a sudden, that is like this representation of erotic beauty to you, because every time you're intimate with that person, crazy oxytocin is being released and you're looking at that body. And then the wife is like, I do feel secure, even if I am a little imperfect, because I know that this imperfect body that I may not love right now makes you go wild. But if you're looking at porn, dude, she's like a second or third best, because she's never going to measure up to that. So there's a comparison component that comes, and this dopamine reaction that's happening in the brain. And now it's like, you don't even do it for me anymore, and you're my wife. Right?
Well, again, I can't identify with that because my wife, I don't know if you've seen her, but she's better looking.
12.
She's better looking than most porn stars.
There you go.
No, I mean, she's pretty good. Although, one time she was getting a little hefty, and I said, babe, it's time. She's like, time to what? And I'm like, time to start getting in shape.
It's a bold move, Brad.
It's a bold move.
Well, again, I wish she was here because she'd tell you, yeah, it's true. Yeah. And then the next thing you know, she was like skinny again, and it almost felt like I was cheating on her. It was like, and when I say hefty, dude, I'm an asshole when it comes to that, because like, I didn't want to be married again. I thought you get married once and you stay married. So my first marriage, I'm like, okay, I'm not getting married. She was younger when I met her, so it's like, okay, fine, I'll get married one more time. But like, I want what I want. Otherwise, why am I married? So anyway, long story short, I'm not a dick. I just told her, you're getting too heavy for me, like to be attracted to you. I need to be attracted to you. Is there anything wrong with that?
No. If that's just an honest conversation you have with your spouse. If I'm struggling with attraction in my spouse for a certain reason, you want to be able to have that conversation. What I will say is, you might have, depending on your wife, it sounds like your wife's a very strong woman and was able to hear that and decide to run with it. And that's,
but also, okay. I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm not attracted, I'm more likely to cheat. Now, me personally, not even then, I'd just divorce before I cheat.
Yeah.
So my wife can walk around very confident that her man is her man. And I want the same from her. Good. So again, old friends from high school and DM here and DM there, sliding up in there. Guys think she's cute, says something to her. She's like, well, what should I say? Nothing.
Yeah, just ignore it.
Yeah, you don't fucking say a word. Don't say my husband wouldn't like this. Don't say I'm married. You don't say anything. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, 100%. You got creepers. Do you know how many
DMs Katie gets?
I don't engage with them.
But again, I mean, you're also coaching, so you know better. What about women that don't know any better?
That's why I'm coaching them to not say anything.
That's the boundaries, right? That's the boundaries that you and your wife create in your relationship.
Correct.
It's for you. Your boundaries don't have to be ours. If that conversation, if you and your wife committed like, hey, we just always want, if we're struggling with this, let's just come to each other and talk about it. And we'll just, great. Your wife, you've set that as okay. And so we're I have, my own things to work on, and that is an area of my life that I need to be more disciplined in 100%. But we're big on communicating what makes sense in your relationship, but you have to be on the same page. When you're not on the same page is when things start not going well, and that's when you start to create. So what happens if they're not on
the same page?
You have to talk through it.
What if you don't want the same things anymore? It's
conflict resolution.
Yeah. Do you ever decide, hey, maybe it's better you guys get divorced?
We're not.
That's pretty much never.
It's not coming out of our mouth, right?
If you have two willing people, like there's been times where we've had somebody that one spouse is literally out the door. They're cheating. They're with somebody else, and this one's like, "Please come back. I'm begging you, honey." Like
let it go.
He gone. So and we tell them lovingly, like, you need to have enough self-respect to not beg for that treatment.
That's what I would be saying to the person.
But when you've got two willing people, let's say they have different perspectives on retirement or what they want to do for their future or things with their parenting, and they're really not on the same page. This is where we teach people conflict resolution, because the health of a marriage is not based on compatibility. It's based on how you navigate your incompatibilities. If every spouse said, well, when we're just not compatible enough anymore, I'm going to split, then divorce would be more rampant than it already is. So having the longevity in the relationship is knowing that relationships evolve over time. Preferences might change, desires, goals might change. But if we've committed to be in this for life, then how do we navigate having a difference of preference where we're able to hear each other and respect each other in that, but stay the course? What
about, I know, but a little bit of what you guys are saying is what I would consider to be optimal, meaning, yeah, everybody wants that wonderful conviction and ethics. I call it ethics, really. But no one hardly has it anymore.
If they don't want it, they're not coming to us. If they don't want to save their marriage, then don't follow us. We're here to help you ever
get a woman that wants to save the marriage, but the guy's like not really into it, but they're willing to do it,
or vice versa.
Yeah.
Oh, we had plenty of men come who were like, "I'll do anything, I'm ready," and the wife is disconnected and not there. So
who was doing the cheating though?
On that one, it's not cheating.
Not cheating.
This is just typical
Resentment, just build up.
Your wife at home's frustrated at you because you're working late,
or they just don't like you anymore. How do you get them to like you again? Because you know when you meet a person for the first time and you're getting to know them and like you feel something, like, you know, they brush up against you and you're like, you know, ready to go.
Yeah, those are hormones that are temporary. So
I know, but like it's because of that newness.
Right.
But once you're with someone 20 years, you know, I've already had her a million times. She doesn't really like it when I do. Like only one time, I was in the mood and she was busy. She has kids, yada, yada, yada. She said to me, "Hurry up." And I said, "Excuse me?" And instantly was not interested anymore. Yeah, and I'm like, forget it. She's like, "No, hurry up. Let's just go." I'm like, "Babe, no. I'm not interested. Like I probably couldn't if I wanted to. Right. Like that's a literal turnoff for me. To me, you have to want me in order for me to want you. So at the end of the day, if she's beat and drained and tired and she doesn't ever want to have sex, but you do, how do you fix that?
Coach the perspective. One is what's going on. You know, we can ask the wife, what does she need different? Is there
I'm going to be my wife. Now people are going to think I'm secretly asking for me. But again, I mean,
no, it's probably the most common topic in the world. So is what you're
because I talk to dudes and dudes ask me like me and my wife are perfect, and I'm like, you kidding me? Like freaking, you know, we got the same issues you do. They do. They go, yeah, but you say like, because I have a video go viral that said if you're not making enough money, dude, and your wife's out spending you, and she's a good wife, you need to make more money. And so women are sending that to their men. So everybody like now considers me like a relationship guy, and I'm like, dude, I don't have any answers for you.
That's not how we approach that situation.
But me and my wife, you know, she doesn't talk to other people about our problems, which is smart.
It's good.
It's damn good. It's because again, if she tells her friends, well then, honey, you deserve better, and all of a sudden now you got people filling your head with shit. If you just don't tell anybody your problems,
right?
But then some people are like, dude, I need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
What do you say to them?
Yeah. So like for that scenario, we would say having a mentor, having a close friend that you know.
Be in the McCabe Life community.
That's right. Be in our community group.
But if I joined your community, now it looks like I have marital issues. So
you and everybody else.
People are embarrassed about that.
That's kind of the idea. Is you and everybody. The whole point of the community is to normalize that you're not alone.
Correct.
I actually think people thrive more in group atmospheres than personal, because when you do it personal, it just feels like it's just you. No one else can know.
But if you guys said, "Hey, you and your wife want to come to our thing and chat," I'd be like, fuck no. Now everyone's going to think we got a problem.
Not together. So I think, that's it.
When in reality, everybody has their problems. The question is to what degree.
That's like the person making fun of you because you're in the library and you're like, what? You're in the library too, homie. You know, like, what are we talking about here? The idea is the only people in the group are people that just want to improve the relationship. You don't have to be almost divorced to say, hey, but we could pick up intimacy or pick up more connection.
Dude, that's a good point.
You know, so you don't have to wait till you're literally on life support.
Yeah, because like if you guys ask me, do you want a better relationship with her? I'd say yes.
Because the answer should always be yes.
Well, I do. And if you asked her, she would say yes. The question is how, you know, because if I wasn't attracted to her anymore, and I still am, thankfully, well, then I don't know what you can tell me to make me think she's hot again, especially if she's not. Like, she got old, she got fat, she's like,
Well, she had a
disease,
gonna get old.
right? So
She might not get fat, but she's gonna get old.
I want to pause one caveat. I want to make sure we understand. Just so you know, if your spouse cheated on you, we're actually not saying you need to stay. We actually call that the ultimate betrayal. And if you feel like you need to leave,
then go.
And, Katie and I, we love Jesus. We're not ashamed of it. And so we have more of a conservative standard on that. So we're open to that.
well, that helped.
Yeah. I want you to know that, right?
But I mean, that helped.
Yeah.
Because again, if she didn't believe in Jesus, you might have been history.
100%.
Yeah.
And
and there's a lot of couples that it's too late for them.
Just so Jesus actually does give that as a grounds for it's okay to walk away.
Oh, he does?
Biblically, yeah. That's in the
What
Bible.
scripture is that?
It's in the Gospels.
It also says we can stone them to death.
That's Old Testament.
Oh.
We're in a new covenant now.
So
But that's a different theological
But it does say
discussion.
that?
it
I
does
didn't know
say stone
that.
him to death.
In the Old
there was
Testament.
different laws and things that you could do.
I mean, he says if you're unfaithful, it's okay to divorce.
Yes.
Correct.
I didn't know that.
Jesus is in the heart of forgiveness, but he understands in that situation, it's really, that's a super challenging, and that is the ultimate betrayal. So that is, we call it biblical grounds. Like, you have biblical grounds to walk away.
What about if they get caught talking and DMing, but there was no intimacy?
It's still betrayal, right? So you have to.
That would be how we kind of categorize an emotional affair.
Yeah. What about emotional affairs? How often do you see those?
All the time.
Oh, all the time.
I'd say that those are a lot.
Far more prevalent.
Far
because
more
that's
prevalent
a lot
than-
easier to fall into that.
And you didn't cheat. In my book, yes, you are.
did. You
You
cheated.
are cheating.
It's cheating.
Yeah, it's cheating. Period.
It's
you might as well. You
betrayal.
might as well have had sex.
Yeah.
Now, again, if you ask me, that's better than cheating.
Everybody's
Like, if
gonna
I
look at
caught
that
my wife,
differently, but
my wife about to cheat, I could probably keep her. If she actually cheated, she cheated.
Sex with another man for
Done.
you, that's done.
I just
people
can't do
actually
it.
have the opposite. So, because hypothetically, you could say, hey, my husband visited a prostitute after the strip club, no emotional connection, literally just sex. And someone would say, but if he had connecting with this woman for 6 months,
Building a
his heart
relationship.
was there.
Right.
Which one hurts more? A lot of women and a lot of spouses would say, actually, the connection one hurts way more than the one night stand when someone was drunk.
Yeah, but not dudes.
It just depends.
No, women will probably be higher in that category.
Because I mean, like, a dude will just, he'll bang anybody that will say yes.
Some dudes, right? And this is
Most
the difference,
dudes.
right?
There's most dudes like that.
Yeah, and
I ain't
think
talking about,
this is what we're-
good, spiritually grounded, good men. They'll say no, even though they might have wanted
But you
to.
wouldn't know.
What do you mean?
You've said it yourself.
No,
right?
I wouldn't cheat,
You
period.
wouldn't cheat,
but it's
period,
not
right?
spiritually reasons. It's personal reasons.
And absolutely, because you understand that that's like the high integrity, right? I wasn't being, and I wasn't. And part of it is, this is where I talk about, and I know we kind of moved aside, but here's one thing on porn. Porn, this is not a moral thing. You can actually find non-believing atheist doctors that will tell you porn is terrible for you. And if you compare a porn brain to somebody on meth or heroin, they almost look identical.
Really?
They're rotted. So it's a drug. And nowadays, kids in their 20s and their teens have a hard time getting it up because they've watched so much porn that your average woman actually doesn't do it, because porn is it's in a setting of looking at porn. You could look at 1,000 women in an hour.
But isn't that why you watch porn?
Why?
To get a rager. Like, hey, I feel like, busting one out. Here,
Yeah, but
let me watch a little bit of porn, get it going quick, knock it out quick, and be done with it. But if without porn, you're just it's not as easy.
But that's the difference. That porn, you don't realize all those images and all that
is
all
what
that
making it not easy when you're with a woman.
That's what's hurting in a woman. If you're just in the shower, stressed out, and you just decided to I just need to release something, you're not getting all the visual stimuli of thousands of women in an instant. And that's the thing that's actually killing this young generation of young men who have a computer. And I don't know about you, if I had that computer when I was in my pocket at junior high, I'd probably would have looked at that all the time when I was a 14-year-old. But that's what you have now. You have 12, 13, 14-year-old boys who have no idea they're going through these changes. You're creating a culture that is just obsessed with erotic material. And then
they're in their 20s and they're on ED drugs at 22 years old. And you're like, dude, you ain't 70. but you're on it at 22.
Taking the blue pills.
I don't know if that's the porn. I think that's the chemicals and other things also.
Well, those atheist scientists would say it's the porn.
Only
dopamine.
So how can you? How is there a way to unwash the porn? So if somebody could go in and suck out all the porn, guys with ED would all of a sudden
their brains. It takes time. It takes time.
It takes a few years of rewiring.
You got to rewire your brain.
Don't you think it also could be physical? Blood pressure.
I'm not saying it's the only reason. It's a very large contributing factor in today's day.
A lot of those chemicals, Brett, you're talking about, and there's a ton, but those were like 70s and 80s. People didn't have that, right? So you weren't hearing 20-year-olds.
You had a Playboy magazine.
Yeah, but
and if you were really good, you had Penthouse and Hustler.
Yes, but I think even that, you didn't see all that ED though in 20s because it's not. You can only like one movie. You're not. Porn is like. That's
every second.
And
like, every time it's a dopamine. So it's a
easy.
Dopamine.
Before you'd have to steal. You're 16. You had to steal your dad's magazine or something, right? That was a different. It was a different generation of porn. It's not even nearly the same as
no. It's definitely available 24/7.
24/7, and that's.
And there are definitely people out there with porn addictions, meaning they could have a hot wife that's willing to do it, and they'd still rather go in and jack off on a porn
all the
movie.
time.
There's guys who have sex with their wife. And then 10 minutes later, go in the office and they're watching porn again.
Yeah, well, that's an addiction.
Yes.
It's an addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, but watching porn, I never really thought, and I wouldn't even say it's a bad thing, but now that I'm hearing what you guys are saying, maybe I'll reconsider because like addicted to it, problem.
And
but like
likes that word.
You'll watch it to freaking get in the mood a little quicker because it does get you in the mood a little quicker, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
and if we got, 5 minutes.
Until it creates.
I know, but if we got like 5 minutes.
Until it doesn't.
Flip,
and
bang,
you need,
pow, done. Yeah. But if you don't have it, then you're like.
So, but you needed just a little bit. You need just a little bit, right? And then after a while, it's like, well, I just need a little bit more. It's not working. I just need a little bit more because
it's like our lives. Right?
All I need is physical attention. Great. Like, in other words, I don't need to see 5 different women doing anything.
You just need your wife to.
If my wife walks in and like even initiates, which it's again, great. If
That's
I were,
healthy.
We celebrate.
I know,
that.
but there's a lot of wives that don't initiate.
Oh, that's
watch all the videos that Katie makes that she gets a lot of wives.
2 million followers
about initiation.
Oh yeah.
Well, so I'll get my wife to follow it because again, when she doesn't initiate very often, and it makes me think like, do you not like it? Because when we do it, she seems to love it.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you want it more if you loved it so much? Are you faking it?
No, she's not faking it. Yeah.
She says no. But I'm also, babe, tired.
Yeah.
I'm beat. I've dealt with the kids all day.
Yeah.
My hormones, this, my that. And it's like, I don't feel it. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
It don't make sense to me. Like if
that's because you're a guy.
That's because I'm a guy. Because like if she came in and I had a bad day and she goes, you want me to give you a blowjob? I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not going to go, I'm not in the mood for one.
Yeah.
I'll be like, dude, what are you talking about? Of course.
Of course I won't.
But at the end of the day, that will harm a relationship too, because like secretly guys are insecure. And if they're not getting it from me, well, then you must be getting it from someone.
Right.
Because there's a lot of times that people think women are these little innocent creatures.
No,
they are not.
They're rowdy.
They're rowdy and they want it more than you think they do. And they just don't want it from you. Why? Because maybe you don't do it right. Maybe you're not slow. Maybe you're not fast enough. Maybe you're not big enough. Maybe you're not freaking in shape enough. Maybe you're the wrong color. Like you don't know why, but she wants it. She just doesn't want it from you. And that's what people think. And it's like, I fall into that. It's like,
so we can,
I'll push back on that a little bit. What I would say is the want it from you. People talk about women being crazy, like behind closed doors. They've done studies of like, men at a strip club. They're always like, they can't be perverts, right? So you just sit back and this. But women at a strip club and they're nuts. Like Magic Mike shows, the women go crazy.
Yes, they do. And again, I said I was at that bachelorette party because my roommate at the time, he was a male stripper.
Yeah,
and we would go to his shows and I would be in the back waiting for the male strippers to be done stripping. And there was a 10-minute window before they opened the curtains, and then the boyfriends or the husbands who knew who they were not allowed in. So it was just women. The strippers would do their show, and then they'd open the curtains and they'd all pour in, and then it was just a nightclub. In the 10 minutes between the show ending and those curtains opening, there were shit going on with the strippers like you would not believe. Yeah. And they'd always think that I was a stripper, which I wasn't one of them, but like, I'm telling you, like, that's how I know. Like when people are like, oh, they're not like that. Bullshit. They're not like that.
No, they're like that.
And they're like that where I saw one girl performing oral on a guy, the curtains opened and I watched. It was that fast. Like she just finished, or let's just say he did. And then the curtains were opening as she was standing up. The guy walked right over to her. She turned around and gave him a big old kiss. And that's my man. And the man had no idea. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Maybe that's why I got little trust issues at the end of the day.
You've seen some stuff.
Because I've been the guy, and I've watched other guys, and I've watched females who had husbands and they were so in love and they were going to church and blah, 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 blah. They still did it. And so if you were to ask me, do you think your wife would ever cheat? I would hope she wouldn't. But do you think she wouldn't? It depends on the circumstance. Why? Because I think everyone would in the right circumstance.
That's why we don't get in those circumstances. Boundaries.
That's right.
You set your work boundary, right? That's why you said, I don't want my wife working.
Right.
Now,
I don't want her going on a freaking male strip show either.
Yeah, but that's definitely, that's a hard boundary. We would recommend everybody have that boundary. Right. You know, you have in it, you've worked hard. You've done a really good job, right? You've obviously built an extraordinary business and had a lot of success that you have the financial means to allow your wife to be there to take care of the kids, which is awesome. And I recommend every man do it. However, you just have some that it's like, no, we need both incomes. We need that. So there is going to be some wives out there. So what do? You create these boundaries for a reason. You talk through them. You communicate to one another. You know, the women go crazy. They're in an environment. This is why environments are important. Yep. You can have an environment of women who are all cheating on their husbands. And what will probably end up happening if that woman doesn't remove herself, she'll probably start to engage. And this is why groups are so powerful. If I hung out with a bunch of, multimillionaire guys they're all using Lightspeed, what am I probably going to end up going? I'm going to start apparently this is what I need to do. So that's all part of this. That's why groups are important, because if you surround yourself with women who are all talking about, no, like I love initiating to my husband because it makes him feel so loved and he like treats me amazing. All of a sudden, what that wife going to want to do? She's going to go, hey, it sounds like it's been impactful. But if they don't ever hear that from any other woman because, we can't talk about our relationships. We got to be nice. You need to surround yourself with that. And that's why Katie is so popular, especially among men followers, because they're like, yes.
Talk to my wife.
Yes. And they're sending, and then I get on and I'm talking to husbands. And this is, I always joke. It's like if the amount of unfollows we were put together, we could have 50,000 followers a month, every month, just in and out. But we'll have 20,000 that are unfollows because they heard something from Katie, tell my wife. And then I get on there and I'm like, husbands. And they're like, F you guys, you're all right. They wanted to just, most people.
That's confirmation bias.
They want an echo chamber.
They want an echo chamber, right? Most people, it's easier to say my wife's the problem.
But let's come back to, you had said something about why doesn't.
Well, real quick though.
Go.
It's always your problem. I'll never blame my wife. It's me. I'm not doing something. I'm not showing up a certain way. The reason she's doing what she's doing is because I'm not doing something I should be doing. Now, if I was doing everything I should be doing, well, then she'd be worshiping me. So it's obviously my fault. It's never her fault.
And that mindset is why you've been successful, right?
Well, again, but in her case, that's true for her too. So if I ever cheated, it's not me, it's her. She wasn't doing something, because again, you got to take personal responsibility. And if you do that, I think you'll have a much better relationship, period. Because again, if I went home and found out she cheated, it's my fault. Whether I tolerate it or not is also my fault. So again, I want you to convince me why I should tolerate. Like, how did you tolerate that? Now, again, women different, because guys make mistakes. Like, I could go bang a chick tomorrow and say, sorry, honey, and really be remorseful. And it's true. Like, she let me and I was drunk. And so I fucking fucked her real quick. That's nothing different. That's nothing the same as a woman who cheated. Why? Number one, because first of all, you had to have some sort of emotional attachment. You don't just let some dude bang you. You're not trying to just get banged. Women don't just get banged.
At the strip club? You just gave the example. There's no emotional attachment with that stripper.
What do you mean?
You just gave an example.
The story of the woman
who gave the blow.
That's why I have trust issues, because they tell you that women have to have emotional attachment, and mine's not a slut.
Yeah.
Whoever did that, in my opinion, that's just a slut.
Yeah.
Now again, what's a slut? Well, all dudes, in my opinion, are sluts too. but like, there's women that, they wouldn't do that, but they could end up doing that if they worked with the person and they were there and they cared for them and listened to them. And dude, it's almost like I always say, you can't really help who you fall in love with, but you can help being around. Like if I felt like, man, this girl, like I just feel, I'm going to get away from her.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we would say.
Well, that's what I would do, because dude, I'm not stupid. Like I feel something for this person,
right.
But I wouldn't go home and say, honey, there's a girl at work, man. Oh my God, I love her.
No, I don't think you would need to.
If you set the boundary, you want to,
yeah.
If you want to turn off
that could
really
screw
quick,
up a relationship. Too much honesty.
You want to take that energy out of the room, start talking about your wife.
Right.
Take that energy right away. Nothing's a bigger turnoff than, oh yeah, my wife Lily loves that too.
Unless, of course, they're the wrong kind, because that
occasionally,
dude, listen, a wedding ring sometimes will attract them.
For women, yes. I don't think that works the same way. So if it's like a woman who's got the ring, I mean, I guess you said you have those buddies who occasionally wanted the challenge, right? But in a lot of cases, the husband or wife name drop can really help. And it just reminds you too. This is where, like I said, boundaries are really important, and everybody's boundaries have to look different, but protect your relationship. And once again, if your spouse cheats on you, it's okay if you want to leave. We wouldn't blame you. We could totally understand, but it's okay if you're having a hard time deciding what you want to do and you want some help. We can maybe help you figure some of those things out.
What would you say if I said, if my wife cheats on me, we're done? Would you have any good advice to change my mind?
Just, is that what you want? Do you want to be done? But it doesn't matter now. To that decision.
Why does it not matter?
What's the financial cost of that decision?
For me,
there's hypothetically, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
It'd probably be for me less expensive
to divorce.
Yeah,
than to stay with her.
Yeah.
Okay. So the finances aren't your motivator. Then.
No. It would be cheaper for me to divorce her. Like the judge would say, here's what you owe her, and that's all she can spend. Like, okay, good. Take that, and I'm done. With me, she's going to spend a lot more.
Okay. So then,
because I give her whatever she wants, I think,
do you guys
whatever.
Have kids together?
Yeah, 3.
Okay. So
beautiful.
Okay. So you got 3 beautiful kids.
Yeah.
That's a part of the conversation. What does this look like? Versus we got a tough few years ahead of us of rebuilding trust, but we sit next to each other at their weddings. We sit next to each other at Christmas, right? Like
we fake it.
No. Because you're going to rebuild it.
But what if you can't? I don't know if I could.
And that's something for you to decide.
Yeah.
But
my mental capacity may not allow me to forgive that.
So you asked before.
Then your wife gets a handful of boyfriends, Steve, Ryan, Tyler. They're all now, what are they doing with your kids? They're partly raising your kids. Now she has a new husband. That guy's a dick. He's raising your kids. What's the impact of your children? How are they now doing? Are they doing better? Now
well, you gotta take the risk, don't you?
No, you don't. You're choosing to take the risk because that's a choice you made. So I said,
well, my ex-wife, by the way, never remarried. And from what I know, never really dated.
Here's the key point.
Publicly, meaning I'm sure she has, but my kids never knew it. I had
There's
2 boys. I had 2 boys.
You stay or go.
Yeah, but I had 2 boys with her, but I didn't have that problem with her. But it was a concern.
Yeah.
But I tried to stay married with her, but she wanted to be the boss, and there was no justification in the bossness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In other words, it was kind of like, and it was my fault because again, I wasn't the best husband either. So if I could have went back and found a way to repair it, I would have. But she wanted to be the boss, and I'm like, that's not happening. Mm-hmm. I'm a man, and I'm going to do what I do, and I'll listen and I'll compromise, but like, you don't tell me what to do, like you own me. And she refused to let that go. So one day I said, if we were fighting, and to me it's like constantly fighting. in front of the kids. It didn't matter anymore that they were there. It was fuck you, you piece of shit, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, to me, I'd rather have kids be raised in 2 happy environments than 1 miserable one.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, I don't stay married because of kids. I think that is a mistake. If it's irreparable.
Yes.
If people found people like you and they've learned how to replace and rebuild and rebuild the trust, that would be the ideal, of course. So if someone came to me, I'd say, get counseling.
Yeah.
And I really would mean it. Like, get counseling. Just because she cheated on you doesn't mean it's over. But for me, in my head, I don't know if it's ego. I don't know what it is.
It could be ego. But I think you said it. There's risk either way. If you leave, there's kids, there's potential stepdads, there could be a lot of brokenness. And if you stay, there's the risk of it happening again. And this is why we tell people, do not stay and just sweep it under the rug. It most likely will happen again if you're doing it, because there's behaviors and there's brokenness that led to it. You said earlier, if my wife cheated, it's my fault. It's not your fault. We would say 100% someone's action to get in bed with someone else is theirs. There are broken pieces of the relationship that led to that, but you can't as a person say, I cheated because you're not a good husband. I'm still the one that got in bed with somebody.
Well, what if they say that?
That's not someone remorseful.
That's exactly.
So then blow her out.
That's not ownership.
But blow that person out, male or female.
Depending on how you're defining, blow them out.
Someone out.
We would say,
out of here.
We would say like tough love, hard boundary. In other words, I'm not even going to think about repairing this marriage with you until you are taking 100% of the ownership of your choice. I know that I'm an imperfect spouse.
Yeah, but if
and I probably did things to hurt you that contributed to your wandering heart, but it doesn't mean that it was my fault that you got in bed with somebody else.
Doesn't mean it was okay
either. It doesn't make it okay. I know I'm not perfect. I'll work on my crap to be a better spouse. But it doesn't mean that you can put it on me that you chose to cheat. You dealt wrongly with my imperfections.
Yeah, well, that's true. But that happens all the time.
It does happen all the time.
And this is why we're here. But
that's why we're here.
I know we kind of got stuck on the infidelity. It's really just, that's a small portion of
that's because that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, that's okay.
Fair enough.
But
probably everybody's biggest fear. Yeah.
Well, I don't know why it's my biggest fear. I was hoping maybe you guys would reveal it to me. Because again, like if you ask me if she did that, would you consider all these things? I'd be like, can't do it. It would be immediately over.
And we've worked with couples who literally sat in our virtual office and said, this is what I said, and somehow I can't leave.
Well, to me, it's because number one, I can go get another one really easy. And maybe that one is going to be better. So to me, it's almost like, I'm not stuck at all. So like to me, she has a winner. And if she's that stupid, I don't want to be with someone stupid. Okay. Like, I deserve more than stupid. Well, I made a mistake. Yeah, you sure fucking did. Now, good luck to you.
Yeah.
And as we said, that's an understandable choice.
And
it doesn't mean there's no...
I get mad even thinking about it.
It doesn't mean there's no... With every cause, there's an effect, right? So with every choice you make, there's going to be some other thing that's going to happen over here that's also might not be ideal.
Yeah, but what if the next one's wonderful?
So this is the idea is like, well, what's the point of marriage? Why even got married in the first place if we can just go get our next one as soon as it's wonderful or as soon as it's hard, just drop them off, be done with them and just go get the next one. We shouldn't even have marriage if that's the case.
That's a good point.
Right? Like why? If that's the lifestyle you want, plenty of people choose to live a single life. What I would say is usually the more like there's an element of our society becomes from a standpoint of like, I think you become a slightly better person when you have two people holding each other to a standard.
Yeah, making each other better.
Making each other better. So there's that's not even, that's one of the benefits of marriage. And so that companionship, at some point you're going to get tired of chasing the next one. And as good looking as you are, Brad, you might not be as good looking at 90, right?
That's already happening. I was better looking 2 years ago.
So the idea is it might be harder. And then what age do we get? And there's different problems.
Well, then my attitude might change.
So
right. Once I'm like if I got in a crash and I was like crippled and scarred and like no girl will ever actually love me again. Well, then, and she cheated, I'd be more like, babe, it was a mistake. No problem. Yeah, come over here and give me a hug. But like right now, mentally, I think that would be the case. But I don't want to do the whole thing on infidelity. What about just, because again, if you would have asked me earlier, hey, would you want a better relationship with your wife? Yes, I would. Why? Because to me, it's like, I want to constantly improve. I want to be like madly in love with her. Now, if you ask me, are you, I'd say, yeah, to be nice and whatnot. And she'd probably say, yeah, but I don't think you can hide where love exists. And I don't think you can, hide it when it does. So like, I always want a better relationship. So I, I don't know if it's the word respect or love her more, but like, I would love to love her more. Is that, cause I'm not like, I could go 2 weeks and she could be somewhere, and because I trust that, she's fine. I could go 2 weeks and not even see her.
Yeah.
I'd want it to be,
I miss you. Yeah.
Baby, I love you.
Well, when's the last time you did inventory of your relationship?
You're the greatest. Huh?
When's the last time you took inventory of your relationship? When's the last time you actually looked at your wife and said, do you need anything different from me? How's it going?
Well, she's so nice. She just says no. She says no. She says, you're where you want to be. I get abs. I go, do you like me better in shape or not? She goes, honey, I don't care. You can be however you want. And then, of course, I believe her and get a little pudgy. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I wish I could read her mind. Because if I read her mind and I knew I could trust her, I'd love her more.
So here's where
I'd love her more if I could trust her more. Now, people say, you don't trust her? I don't trust women. I don't trust humans.
There's something there.
There's
something there. There's a woman who hurt you at some point. You don't have a memory of some woman who...
Well, I mean, yeah, but we weren't... Or
just maybe the stuff you've seen.
Stuff I've seen tells me that, yeah, sure. But I've been hurt by women, but I didn't get cheated on. We broke up and they went and did some shit. Well, how'd you do that if you fucking love me? Like it was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, how's that possible? And it isn't possible. But then again, I've also, because I'm a guy, I think guys are different than women. That's all there is to it. I think women,
very much so.
I think women are supposed to, need some sort of connection to have sexual intercourse. They're not just, bang it. I need it banged. That's like a dude.
Yeah.
Like a guy, if there are opportunities there and they thought no one would find out, I'll bet you 90% of men would cheat. Now, again, I wouldn't. And that's the truth. And that's why I say, that's a catch. Why? Because I know a lot of dudes and most of them, A, are cheating, and B, would cheat if they were able. They're just not able.
Yeah.
Or there's no opportunity. Like, you ever heard they'll cheat based on their opportunities? So if no one ever gives you the opportunity, of course you won't cheat, but like become a celebrity and then don't cheat.
All those people throwing themselves.
It's a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the audience, I'm sure there's people that are on both sides. What message did you want to send out? Because I know that, there's people that need you, and it's not because someone's cheating. It's because they just don't feel the same. They don't feel that warmth and love, and they don't look at each other the same way anymore. And I see it with friends of mine that are married.
Yeah.
I got one friend who's married, and I don't think his wife likes him at all.
Yeah.
But they're married.
I'll let you, I'll even let you tell me. So if I said, hey, I need to work on myself. I need to get fit, let myself get a little bit bigger. I'm just going to wing it and see how it goes. Would you say I was going to have success in my fitness?
I would say more than likely not.
Okay. More than likely not. If I just wing it, I probably need to be intentional, have a plan, disciplined,
have some accountability.
Consistent.
How many people are just winging their relationships?
Most of them.
Most of them. And so that's probably part of the problem.
Because we weren't taught relationship skills.
Amen.
This is what high school should be about. Relationship, business, finances.
A part of it, sure.
Yeah, it should be.
Because I think, again, I'm somewhat faith-based. I think once you marry someone, that's it. And it does get tough. And I think it will get tough for anybody, even if you're both hot and perfect for each other. Eventually, again, there's a saying that says, show me a hot girl and I'll show you a dude tired of fucking her. You ever heard that?
Yeah.
And it's true. Look at Tom Brady. Like, dude, Tom Brady, he ain't an ugly dude.
Tiger Woods.
He's a freaking quarterback.
Right.
And his girl banged a freaking jujitsu instructor.
Yeah.
Why? Well, I'll bet you it was an emotional thing. It had nothing to do with he was fat, he was broke, you don't know why it is. Women get connected to somebody and they feel a certain something.
Yeah.
My question is, how come couples can't find that with themselves?
Yeah. So here's what we say about sex in a marriage. It is like the reflection of the heart of the relationship. So a tree is your analogy. You're growing apples. If the tree is diseased, the apples are going to be diseased, right? So for women, especially, because you've said it like 100 times, right? Dude's going to do it anywhere, anytime, doesn't matter if you're fighting, right? But for the woman, the relationship connection is what builds her interest in intimacy. So when you have disconnect, some fighting, maybe he's kind of cranky after work, he's not supporting her at home. There's like a handful of common themes.
He comes
for a
home,
woman.
plays
Video games, doesn't really help with the kids. He's kind of a neglectful dad for this season. Like all those kind of things. There's this wall that just goes up for the woman. She's
and
like,
they don't say anything either.
that's a problem. So that's like the whole point is the foundation of what we do with couples is we get them talking and we get them talking healthily. So you have two common dynamics. You have the couple that sweeps everything under the rug and they just want to avoid it all and they're resentful and bitter and the disconnect grows. Or you have that couple that does talk a lot, but they're fighting viciously. Sounds like maybe you and your first wife had a little bit more of that. Accusing, attacking, lots of angry words, right? Both of these are going to create massive disconnect where the woman is like, I want nothing to do with you in bed. So we talk to men all the time. We say, we'll help you with the sexual intimacy, but that's actually the second half of our program with you because the sex isn't actually the problem. It's her connection to you. Yeah. It's what's going on at the heart of the relationship that we need to work on. So we teach them techniques of, if I need to bring up something hard, how do I do that with language that doesn't make you feel accused, blamed, or attacked?
You guys have like word tracks and techniques.
We have a whole workbook. We have specific techniques and exercises that we teach them. And then we have them practice repetition until those things become habit.
See, that's training, by the way.
That's where we see a shift in the relationship when they're able to talk about anything and not fight. I might not even agree with Terry.
Even if like you find someone attractive and you told him that, he's able to.
It's emotion regulation.
Yeah.
Take some breathing, right? And it doesn't mean that.
Well, I need some of that training.
That's a less common one.
I would hate to have her go, well,
a more
honey,
common one is
now that we joined the McCabe Life, they say that I should tell you the truth. And the truth is,
no,
I don't find you attractive.
Listen, we do.
Then what do you do?
I probably would. Once again, if I was coaching you on that, Brad, I'd probably have you word that in a different way that's more loving and almost not, you're not blaming, you're just saying, hey, lately I've been struggling with attraction to you. I don't know specifically what it is, but are you open to kind of talking about that? You kind of have to Jeremy Minor there a little bit. I want to let you know. If you just come in and say, hey, babe, you're getting a little fat, I need you to work on it. Most women, it sounds like your wife handled it like a champ. But once again.
Well, she also wasn't fat.
Yeah.
She wasn't as perfect anymore. Now, again, my shallowness, and we have a cool relationship where we're friends. She just doesn't care whether I'm fat or not because people are like, what about you? Oh, I've been out of shape too. But like, I just told her as a buddy would, hey, it's time to start hitting that gym. Mm-hmm. And she didn't get offended because she's cool.
Yeah.
So that's less common. The common ones are going to be things like, you're not helping at home enough. We're fighting about finances. Why aren't you taking me on dates anymore?
We're going to have to do a second episode because I want to call her and let's do some.
Get her in here.
I want to call her and say, babe, but I know what she'd say because I've asked her questions and she always says the right shit, but does she really mean it? So that tells me like I have a trust issue. Maybe
like
my trust
community group, we separate men and women for that reason.
Yeah, but Terry, listen, maybe because when I was young, I was given up for adoption when my mom and dad got divorced. And my mom, my real mom, because I was only 2, so I don't even remember this, but maybe my trust issue with women isn't a girl. It was my mom.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't trust them because how could this one give me up?
Yeah.
How would you give up your child?
Yeah.
You're supposed to love your child. So maybe that abandonment issue is still there. I always think, no, it isn't. I don't give a fuck because I don't. And I really don't.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean that
maybe
you're not hardwired.
I do.
Yeah. So you're hardwired. We have all kinds of childhood trauma shows up in our marriage relationships and how we function. There's all kinds of things. One of the most popular ones is EMDR therapy.
What's that?
Which it's just like a basic, it's actually like an eye movement therapy technique that helps you rewire your brain from the trauma neuroplasticity that's there so that you really can kind of release. You're not going to forget. Like, it's not like you don't have the knowledge anymore, but there's a hold that these traumas have on us. They create instincts. They create subconscious instinctive patterns. Yeah. I have trauma issues from my upbringing. My mom passed away when I was young. So there's, it's not like intentional abandonment, but there's a lot of pain from loss, right? And that shows up for us, and I'll own it. There will be times we're having conversation. I'm like, I'm aware this is a trauma response. Like I sense it. I know that my level of intensity around this doesn't match the circumstances, right? So there are things you can do to go back and do some release. I'm not saying you got to be in therapy for the rest of your life. Some people do a couple of these kinds of sessions, like things like that. And they're like, oh, I have a major breakthrough. I'm feeling just a lot lighter, more at peace, feeling more trusting of my wife, right? But that could absolutely be it, is dynamics that we grew up in hardwired us. They actually made us who we are. And if we think that that doesn't show up in our future relationships, we're ignorant.
So your guys' sessions are with you individually, personally? Like, in other words,
both of us.
If I get in the group, I'm not talking.
Two different programs.
Yeah. So the group, where can people go find you guys and get help?
Yeah.
If they want help. And by the way, it's not always infidelity. It could just be like, again, I just want a better relationship. Yep. I want to be closer. I want to feel more love. The love's kind of gone. I want to be more in love again.
Absolutely. So there's two ways to work with us. You can actually schedule a private session with us. That's $147. And we'll spend an hour with you, actually talking to you.
And couples get on?
That's couples. That one is required. You and your spouse need to be there.
Is it Zoom or something?
Zoom. We just do it over Zoom. And we have a handful of questions we ask, but we just give them an opportunity to be heard. Most couples, honestly,
so you're almost like therapists.
Almost, but we're not.
Operate a little differently.
Yeah. The other aspect of it is, if you want to work with us, that has a higher, obviously, investment. Because that's just the first call. If you want to work with us, we're going to set up a whole program that has a lot involved in it. The other way to work with us and can be also very helpful, doesn't carry as much expense, and in different ways is more helpful, is our group program, where we're still in there. You can still ask a question in the husband chat, for example. Hey, this is what I'm feeling. And me or one of my coaches or mentors or people or admin will get a response from us. And that's what this group is. So you'll have access to me in that way. It might not always be me that responds, but you'll have somebody getting back to you for your personal thing. Mm-hmm. And it's a private chat. Your wife doesn't see those questions, right? Because we want actually to hear, man, I'm pissed off. Dude, this happened today. And we want wives to say, my husband, maybe never listens, or I keep asking him to talk to me or open up, but he just shuts down. She doesn't want to say that in front of her husband, because that's hard to say. Why
they're fighting. Yeah.
That's part of it. As I can't say that without my husband or my wife getting defensive, but I can say it in a private matter. And then we do a weekly call in that group. So that call, every week we have a weekly call that we do either group, or we do a husband only call and a wife only call. So that's the two ways to do it. Some people prefer the private, which has benefits to it, 100%. Some people like that. Once again, as I said, sometimes the community gives you more than you think. We think oftentimes it's just us. It's never just you, I assure you.
Can you do group anonymously?
Yeah.
Can I join as Billy Rutherford?
You can.
You could.
It's just a school community. You can join as Billy Rutherford.
You can have a different profile.
I wouldn't want people to say, Brad Lee and his wife are having trouble.
Well, and
fair enough. And you are a different level of personality, so that's okay. You could do both. You could work with us personally. That's fine as well. And all of our private clients, we put them in the community anyways, but you create your profile in the community. So if it wanted to be happy dance and, hippie dance, sounds good. You're in there. No one knows it's you.
I just know that there's people. It's not me, dude. Number one, we don't really have problems per se, but I guarantee you she'd want a better one than we're having, because who wouldn't?
Right.
And I just wouldn't know like how to explain it or how to like start. And so I joined for that reason, not because I have a problem. It's because I don't want to have a problem. I want it to be better.
And we want everyone to have that perspective.
Drop that bomb. Like I don't want to have a problem. That's why. So you don't have to wait till you're on death, like life
your marriage is a
to work on your
dumpster
marriage.
fire. Why are we waiting till that point? We should this is where we love when young couples who are engaged come to us and want to go through a program, because we're like, yes, build those skills now so you don't fall into all the deep hurt.
Yeah, because when I see marriage coaches, I automatically think problems with your marriage, go to them, which is why we spent the whole hour on it.
And that is
when
true.
In reality, there's a lot of people like, oh, I don't need the McCabes. I'm great. Well, that's also a problem because
that's what we thought once too.
Exactly. like people without a problem should get coaching and strategies to reinforce and make it even better.
That's like saying I've never filed bankruptcy, so I don't need to worry about my budget. Don't wait till you're filing bankruptcy to learn how to budget correctly. Learn how to budget so you never have to file bankruptcy.
I need that coaching too. I'm a spender. Yeah. So here's what I want to do. Number one, I want everybody to obviously go follow the McCabe Life on Instagram. You can Google them. They got millions of followers. You probably might already be following them, but if you're not, there you go. And if you want help, reach out, DM. If you want a better marriage, reach out, DM.
And then on Facebook and TikTok too.
Yeah. And then I want to invite you guys back for another round where it's not just about, we could do sessions. Yeah. So I'm going to bring you guys back for another episode because I already know this one's going to help a lot of people. Yeah. And I think I spent too much on you got a shitty relationship. Here's how you fix it. Because there's a lot of people out there that they're like, like me and my wife are cool. If I'd have heard this, I'd have went, we don't need them. Yeah. When in reality, I would love to have a better one. I would love to get the butterflies again. Mm-hmm. And maybe she does, but I doubt it. Like, in other words, if she told the truth, she'd probably be like,
it's okay.
You know what I mean, though? Like, how do you keep that newness? That's what I want to know, because I want it to be that new feeling again. Mm. And I guarantee you she doesn't have the new feeling either.
Yeah. What's something that makes your wife smile?
Me playing with the kids like a freaking wonderful daddy.
What's something you can do for her that makes her smile?
Give her a massage. I don't know. She smiles a lot. Like, again, we're pretty happy. We have a pretty,
in theory, right? And I didn't mean to cut you off, but imagine going home and saying, "Hey, you've been working all day. Just relax. Let me rub your feet." Like, what do you think your wife, if she likes a massage, right? I don't know. Maybe she'd
say, "What's gotten into you? What are you doing? Like, this isn't you." Because it isn't. I don't rub her feet. I would rather bring her a masseuse and say, "Hey, rub her feet."
Yeah, but maybe I don't for rub some feet. People, but for some people, she would feel like, I appreciate that. You might have the money to be able to do that, but there's something about you doing it, Brad, that makes a difference. We had a client. He does really well, and he's like, it was something about clean. He's like, I don't want to freaking clean. And she's like, I know, but if you just hire somebody, there's something about, like, yes, we could just hire somebody, but there's something about the fact that it's something that I need.
Because it doesn't build my connection to you.
Yeah, but it's wanting to do it that matters. It's wanting to do it. Like, I don't want to do the dishes. And if she wants me to want to do the dishes, she's never going to, she might as well divorce me because I don't want to do the dishes. I'm never going to want to do the dishes.
But do you do them anyway?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
You never do them.
The dishes?
Does she want you to do the dishes?
No. Okay. And she doesn't bitch that I'm not doing the dishes.
And in your relationship, you don't need that. That's okay.
Yeah, but it's the dishes is just the thing. In relationships, people want you to want. Like, I don't want her to go, fine, take it out. I want you to want me to take it out. Mm-hmm. So if I got home, she goes, I was listening to this. Fine, get naked. I don't want you to do it. I want you to want to do it. And in order for her to want to do it, I need to want to do the dishes. But guess what? I don't want to do the fucking dishes. I don't want to do them.
Have you ever been to Disneyland?
Oh, a million times. And I don't want to go there either, but I do for her. She loves it. And the kids love it.
What did you say?
You landed on it.
What did you say? I don't want to go there, but I do for
her.
Because it makes her. It's like when you take, like,
yeah, but that still doesn't get her to reciprocate.
Because those are two different things,
But it's
right?
just an example.
No, I know, but that's a good example because I do go there and it frustrates the shit out of me.
But people talk about this all the time. I could care less about that. But I take my kid for the first time. Ooh, I want to see their face light up. I'm willing to do it because I want to see that. I'm willing to massage my wife's feet because I want to see that. I'm willing to initiate sex with my husband because, man, look at how much he dotes after me because I did it. We have to appreciate willingness for our spouse. If we're waiting for everybody to want things, you're going to be miserable because your expectation is want.
Yeah.
That's selfish. If I want to do it, I could say I do it for me, not for you. But the fact that I do it for you shows that I love you because you smiling is enough for me.
See, that's right. That's right.
Because you cannot manufacture desire. But you can work on willingness, right? So Disneyland, you don't want to go, but you make yourself willing to go. So you said something like, if she said, fine, get naked, let's go. Like, that's a turnoff,
That's like me going, fine, get your shit, we're going to Disneyland.
Exactly.
No one wants that.
But what attitude do you have when you go? You strap on your big boy boots and you say, let's go. It's going to be a good family time. And you make it a good time with your attitude, right? So a woman who shows up to the bedroom and says, can you just hurry up and be done, is not loving her husband well, right? Making him feel like crap. Yeah. But a woman who shows up to the bedroom, even though she's not feeling it because she's tired or she's menopausal or what, and she does it anyway, but with what kind of attitude? Every man in the world wants that attitude to be loving and willing.
Let's go.
She might not be horny. You can't force her body that's hormonal and tired.
There's no counseling for that?
No. Wait.
You already touch on responsive desire.
Yeah, but you already did the counseling because I mean, now that I'm listening, it's like, again, I already knew. I just fucking.
It's a mindset shift.
No, but like if I went home when he said what would make her smile, if I went home and I said, hey babe, listen, you've been busting your ass, you've been taking care of the kids, so I got a little surprise for you.
Yep.
Boom. We're going to Disneyland.
Yeah.
She would smile and she would be happy and she'd tell the kids, and the kids being happy makes her happy. And it wouldn't necessarily get me that reciprocation, but if I kept doing it,
consistency,
and I didn't do it for that,
that's right.
Then eventually she would.
Don't do things for cookies.
Right.
Sex is not like a cookie.
But then she actually would start giving me the damn cookies. But again, it's like,
But it would be out of a response of fulfillment, not obligation.
Yeah.
If you're just fulfilling her love tank like crazy, she's going to have that response. So here's the other thing.
But what if you don't want to fill their love tank?
Well, you don't have to have.
That's the question.
Then why be married?
You don't have to have.
That's the question.
Marriage should be like a mutually selfless interaction.
Yeah, and again, to be clear, I'm not talking about me.
You're good.
Never.
Right. Yes,
I guarantee you. Again, I've admitted, hey, we got our own issues.
Asking for a friend.
But this is not for me. Our love tank is full.
It's because your wife listens to these episodes. I know.
No, if I get her and say, hey, let's go to dinner with these guys tonight, and we went to dinner, you guys would realize they got a good relationship because we do, but A, could be better, and B, there are some things that like I think could be a lot better. And I'll bet you if you took her to the side and she gave her some truth serum, because she wouldn't talk negatively. Sure. She would probably tell you, yeah, there's some things like he doesn't really come home and look at me in the eyes, and he doesn't do those things that like really make a woman feel. And I probably don't, because when I get home, dude, I've been doing shit all day too. Yeah. I don't want to make a decision. What do you want for dinner? Just fucking cook. Like I'm going to go play Call of Duty and try to forget for an hour.
Yeah.
And then again, my kids, she wants me to like come home and like now be perfect daddy. And it's like, sometimes it's like, I don't want to, but that's because of life. But to my point, if I did, it would fix the problem that I perceive as a problem, which it isn't really a problem. But I mean,
because
in other words,
investment has a payout.
Yeah. And the question is if you're not willing to do it, why?
Right. And it doesn't mean we don't want it to be transactional, but if you want her to pour into you, she can't do it with an empty love tank.
That's right.
Right. We've dodged this one thing that Terry wanted me to say. We're talking about real quick, and then we can wrap up. But we talked about the woman initiating and just that weird dynamic of the man wanting sex. Right. How she's like, you
then
like
I'll think she's a slut.
Yeah. What the heck? No. Okay. Testosterone is what we call a pursual hormone, right? Men go out there, they conquer dragons, they fight, they kill whatever, like pursual hormone. Women are more nesters, right? It's what we do. We create the home. And I know that's like 2025, that's a concern, but this is who we are by nature, right? So this applies sexually. Testosterone is a pursual hormone, which means you have what's called spontaneous. Thank you. Spontaneous arousal. You could be at the grocery store picking out sour cream, be like, I'd like to have sex with my wife right now.
Wife sound, there's just
thinking about my wife. It's on my mind, right? A woman never in 1,000 years is going to be at the grocery store picking out string cheese for the kids, reading the ingredients and thinking, I'd like to have sex with my husband. Her brain is just not there, right?
What if it was a big log of string cheese?
Well, maybe if she's having a good hormone spike, right? But the man has spontaneous desire almost anytime, anywhere that can come up for them. Women, estrogen, have what's called responsive desire. We oftentimes don't even know that we want it until we're into it. And this is why I champion women being willing to be sexually intimate on a healthy, regular basis with their husbands, because so often when they're in it, they're going to go, oh, that's right. This is good for me. It lowers my cortisol, makes me feel connected to my husband, fills his love tank. He's then more Prince Charming and look at me in the eyes with those woo-woo eyes that I've wanted. And it's just a good cycle of give and take.
What's your Instagram? I'm just joking.
The McCabe, yeah.
I was going to say, my wife's definitely following yours.
We share one together, but this is a lot of what I talk about, helping women get outside of their heads. But that emotional connection, if that's not there, if he's playing video games and avoiding her and dismissing her feelings, getting defensive, that wall is up, and it's really hard for her to create that willing initiative if she's feeling disconnected and unloved from him. Yeah. So there's roles on both sides. And when both people are willing to do what it takes to make the other people feel loved, you can have a really harmonious marriage and have some butterflies back.
Well, we're going to have you guys back for a second. You're not very far away. You can just fly back again.
Yeah.
Would you?
Quick flight. Yeah.
Yeah, because I got a question. If I ask right now, we'll be here for another hour. And that is, what about if they don't let you into their phones?
You want to give a 10-second response to that?
It's a red flag.
It's a damn red flag.
It's a red flag.
Like my wife ever blocks me from her phone. We're done.
Yeah, it's a boundary.
It's shit. That's a sign.
If your phone's sitting there, if your wife came in, our expectation is your wife could pick up your phone and be like, hey, babe, I don't know where my phone is. Let me just look something up. If you're like, red flag.
Red flag. I'm glad you agree.
100%. We have a full transparency model.
Yeah, so we're gonna have you guys back for round 2. Folks, go follow the McCabe Life. And again, I would say you don't need to be broken to get it fixed, because you can always improve it. Even if it's good, there's another level. Right. I haven't seen you guys long enough to know whether you guys have some wonderful relationship, but I'm going to go follow you to see, because like the whole time I'm thinking, so now you guys are all great. Mm-hmm. And then what's great, because again, I always say, if you want something in life, it's pretty easy. You figure out what it is, then you find someone who's already doing it, and then you go do what they're doing. So I want to go follow you just to see what this wonderful relationship has became.
Yeah.
You guys are lovely and everything's great now.
It's great.
Oh, it's actually, my marriage is like it's like the best thing in my life. That I would be honest. It brings me the most joy of anything else in my life is my marriage. So it's not like I have all this one over here and it's like my marriage is okay. No. My marriage is actually the most joyful thing I have. Yeah. And that, I think it allows me to do everything else really well. So that's
Bomb Squad, go follow these guys and report back. I appreciate you guys. Keep it real and keep it married. Until next time.